Hello. Now on our desk today we've got a random selection of things. We've got stamped images, stamped words, stamped numbers, we've got a vintage banknote, an index card, another stamped image of a notepad with a paper clip. We've got some tea stained paper, some skeletonized leaves, some lovely rusty stars, some wire. Underneath here is a piece of wallpaper. There's a piece of wood effect paper, and the last thing is a piece of grey board, which it happens to be black on the back because this is what they put school photographs on, and it came from a scrap store. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my base. Just get rid of my bits and then I don't damage anything. Get glue on it. Right. The wallpaper is a vinyl wallpaper, so once I've glued it down I will have to rough the top up so that the glue will stick the other elements on. But what I'll do is I'll glue it down, set it aside to dry, rough it up, and then I'll get on with the rest of the design. I'm going to glue it on with just watered down PVA. There should be enough left here. I'm going on to the grey board side, as in the grey side which hasn't got a coating on it, because it will stick better. It will soak a little bit of a PVA up to set off with, so I might have to put sort of 2 coats on, but it will stick it eventually. You just have to have a little bit of patience. This is watered down PVA, 2 parts glue to 1 part water, just to make it a little bit looser. If I find that it doesn't stick the first time, I'll probably use full strength PVA, but there's a chance you'll get more wrinkles and bubbles with that, because the water just loosens the PVA a little bit. Make sure you get plenty on the edges, because it'll be the edges that lift. Right, that's a good coat. Now I've looked at this and I actually like this area here, so I'm going to have that sort of towards the bottom. Really good. I really could have done with my brayer, but I haven't got it, so I'll just give it a really good. I've got an acrylic block which I will use to just get any air bubbles out. The piece of wallpaper is bigger than my piece of grey board by a little bit, so that it wasn't so important if I just went off a little bit. I'll just trim that up round the edges, and then I'll go back and make sure it's stuck. I may set it about aside under a heavy book just to make sure it's completely stuck before I do anything else. It is bowing a little bit, but by the time it's dried completely underneath a heavy book or something, it should be fine. All the edges seem to be stuck, apart from that little one there. We'll just put a bit more glue on that edge. That's all done, yeah. A little bit more on that corner. That corner looks as if it's stuck. So we are all done. Right, I've now got a sanding block. It's got a smooth side and a rough side. I'm going to go with the rough side for this. My design is going to be fairly central, so I'm just going to rough up the centre bit, just basically so that my glue will stick a bit better. It gives it something to stick to. And make sure that you wipe off the dust. So that's my base prepared. Put my brush into water to make sure my PVA doesn't sit on my brush and kill my brush. Right, now I want to think about what I'm going to put in the central panel. I've sort of had a bit of a play and thought, yes, that looks quite nice and what I like where. I may change it as I go along. This is a vintage banknote and I've copied it onto tea stained paper because it's 1934, it's more than 70 years old, so there's no copyright on it. I quite like these numbers. I have a thing about numbers. So what I might do is move it there, have this paper over the top. This is interesting, the numbers are, that's quite nice, and have it there. I think then maybe something like this. Maybe some of the tea stained paper. That's quite nice on there. Maybe that underneath. No, I think I like it that way better. And I possibly quite like it overlapped. So I've got a little bit of that showing through. And I'll go so that top and bottom of my strip poke out of that. I think I'm going to add some texture to that. This is like a little stamp of a notebook, quite like that. Now these numbers, I like the numbers, so I need the numbers somewhere. So I think maybe on top of there, maybe down a bit, maybe just like that. Possibly that layered again. What I'm doing is creating layers, and you see I haven't got hardly anything that is square on. Everything's sort of, you have up and down layers with everything. Let's see, what else have we got? Now this is going to be my focal point, so I quite like that coming across here maybe somewhere. Maybe that a bit further down. I mustn't forget my beautiful stars. So my stars, I think they can go underneath layers. So maybe one there and another one partly underneath there. I've got my little leaves as well. Now they would be quite nice underneath some of the other layers. So that they still show. And that gives contrast again to the star against the leaf against the various different papers. So again, I think I'll go there, maybe. As I glue all this down, I could tweak it a little bit. Quite like this leaf. I think maybe it's a little bit lacking over there. So it's got a damaged bit, so I'll put the damaged bit underneath where it won't show. That's poking out there, which looks quite nice. Now I've got some of this Hessian ribbon, and I've got a couple of bits that were floating about. Now a little tip is you could use the whole strip underneath here. You wouldn't see it and it would be a bit of a waste. So if you cut a little bit there and a little bit at the top, it looks as if it goes all the way through, but it doesn't actually. So that's a little tip for you. Don't think I need any more leaves or any more Hessian. I've got this wire, now I like that, and I've got these little bits of, this is a little bulldog clip that's been stamped. Now that would be nice up there to look as if it was attaching the check to the page. Now that's nice, overlapping, tincture of creativity, because it's all got a create theme. Yeah, this corner is a little bit lacking in interest, so I could put that one there. Emergency use only. Sure, we might tuck that just there, so it overlaps a few different areas. Now these are little bits from a book that I've just cut out. Chapter 2, and from a separate book, Step 2. It's just little bits, but it just adds to the design. Now this wire, I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it or not. It's absolutely lovely and it would fit with a lot of projects. What I might do is make some leaves just from old book pages. Yeah, I think I will. I've already cut some for another project. And you're just going to cut out a leaf shape. Now I've got some distress ink in brown because they look a bit bland, but if you just ink up the edges, they look really nice. So we'll have a go with these leaves. We've got our wire. I'm just going to cut it a little bit off because I need a straight edge for what I'm going to try. Now you can make holes with a pin to set off with, or you can just make holes with your wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically sewing with the wire. So I'm going backwards and forwards through the book page. Hopefully I will end up on the back of the leaf, which isn't inked. So like that. What I might do is try and hook it over. So I don't know if you can see, I'm creating a little hook at the top, which is a little bit fiddly, but That's it. So that when I pull it, it doesn't come off. So I've created a leaf with stitching down the centre. And it might be quite nice to have those coming out from the start and creating a bit of movement in the design. So I like that one that length. So if that comes out over there, I'll cut another leaf. I cut my leaves freehand, but if you want to do a template so that all your leaves are the same size and shape, you can do. Getting the edges. Things are always best in threes, so I will cut another leaf out. And you see, I'm not cutting the leaves with the words going straight across. They're going corner to corner almost. So it's a bit more interesting than just having the leaves with the words going from right to left or from up to down. That's another one. Pick it up again. And then again from the back, you're just going to stitch. And if you do happen to break your leaf, it doesn't matter. It's only a little bit of paper and you can get another one. So I've gone right to the top. I'll push it out the top of the leaf, create a little hook, which is easier to do separate rather than what I did last time. And then I'm going to pull it back down very gently so that so my leaf is anchored. And I'm going to cut my second leaf, which will possibly go there-ish. Everything's subject to movement when everything's finished. I aren't 100% set on anything. And then I'll do a last leaf and then I will glue everything down. I'm going to use a combination of foam pads, heavy gel medium and PVA glue. So I'll do this as quickly as I can. If your wire seems to be going in the wrong direction, just twist it round slightly and it'll come back to where you want it. Now I don't think I'm going to go that last one. So pull it out, twist it round so it's a bit of a hook and pull it back down. You could always put a little bit of tape on the back there, but it won't show. And again, I'm going to cut that wire off. Of that for the moment, and it makes it so that you can form your leaves into a bit more organic shape. Just remember to have your inked bit of your leaf at the top, on the top, because then you don't see your hook. I may not need that, it could be two, it could be one down there. I'll decide later. So I'll just take these little bits off because I can add those in later. So it's easiest to work from the top down when you're attaching things because you know what you want it to look like from this direction, so you can attach these to one another once they're on, you can put it onto your base. So I'm going to start with this one and this one. And because it's got a bit of a stationery and there's a bit of gold wire, I'm going to use a stapler. If you haven't got a stapler, what you can do is you can use PVA glue, which will be absolutely fine. So I'm just going to lift those two off. And let's see, where shall I go? There we are. That adds a bit more interest. So I had that on top of there. So I flip it over, get my PVA glue, and I know that I want it down there. And because my PVA glue gives me a bit of wiggle room, I can play about and get it where I want it to be. Come on, I want it straight. That's it, that's more or less straight on our line. Right, that's that. Which was going there. So I think this one I can attach later, so I'll just move it to the right. I want that just a little bit off. So remember where it was. PVA glue again. There we are. That's it. Now the next one I think I'm going to use foam pads because I want a bit of height. So I'm going to pop it on where I know I want it. Get my foam pads. Right. So I'm going to put one at the top and one there. Basically because this bit I want raised up and I want to be able to tuck these underneath later with a bit of glue. So I'll take that off. I do tend to sometimes put a little bit of PVA on here as well. It gives you a bit more wiggle room, but also it makes sure that it is a permanent bond. So that there. Right. So I'll lift these off for the moment and put them aside because they will go on later with heavy gel medium. So we've got that there, that one off as well, and those two. So I know where they're going. So we've got all of this stuck together apart from the leaves. So now, oh, that's a bit of a broken leaf. Have I got one with a point? No. Right. So I can put a bit of glue underneath here and slide our leaf underneath so that it'll be held there with the glue. The same with this one because I haven't glued this side down. put a bit of glue underneath there. And line that up in a bit, I think. So that layer is stuck there. Now I'll just set that aside, that layer, for the moment. This will be a little bit difficult to adhere to the wallpaper because, as I said, it's vinyl, but heavy gel medium will stick it. Don't go too mad with the heavy gel medium because it's a wet medium and it will make things wrinkle a little bit. But if you put a little bit down the centre where you basically won't see it, it'll attach it. So I think we were about there. You also get a bit of wiggle room with your heavy gel medium. So I wanted my numbers showing. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit further to the left. So I can lift it up and go a bit further to the left. We're not quite straight. There we are. Just in case, you can put another line of extra strong PVA, just to be doubly certain. Now this, I did decide that I wanted to add texture to this wood grain paper and I forgot, so I can do that now. Just gently lift everything up and just give it a bit of a rough up. I should have done this before, but I forgot. Just shows that not everybody's perfect. But you don't see so much, it's under the leaf. And down that side. Just gives it a bit of texture. And I actually like little rippy bits like that. And I was thinking about it, I wanted a torn bit here, so I'll purposely tear it and turn it back like that. That's it. So, where's our numbers? There and there. So I think we'll be going about there, maybe a bit higher. You can play about and decide where you want things. And this is what I say, sometimes you start off with one idea and change your mind as it evolves. So I want that up there, that there, maybe a bit further down. Yeah, because this is our focal area, so this little area here is the most important bit. So now we've left the edges here at the top and the bottom free, so that we can tuck our bits of hessian with a bit of gel, heavy gel medium, underneath. So as I say, it looks as if it's coming out from the bottom, and this looks as if it's coming out from the top, and it looks as if the whole thing goes all the way underneath the check, but it doesn't. So you haven't wasted a whole lot of hessian. Just a little bit further over. That's it. So that looks as if it runs the full length, but it doesn't actually. I don't know if we've recorded the last little bit because the camera turned itself off, but we've put this on foam pads, that on foam pads. We're now going to put our star, I think I like it underneath a little bit. There we are, yeah. That's it. Now, for emergency use only, I think I'm going to tuck underneath there. So that'll do with PVA. So I can still read it. So there we are. So that's almost like the checks for emergency use only, which is quite a nice idea. Alright, so we have our little paper clip, bulldog clip, which is going to clip our check on. So I'll attach that to the top of the vintage check, and I think we're getting there. I've got my leaves yet to go on and our two little words. I had them here, but I actually think I've got something that needs a bit of interest up there, or even here. That's better, because that brings your eye from this main point down to there. So a little bit of PVA on there. As I say, these were just out of a book. That's it. Now this I noticed was moving a little bit, so I'll just put a bit of PVA underneath it to stop it from moving. Alright, so we're getting there. We've just got our leaves, which I think we might have. Now, I fancy them coming here. It doesn't reinforce our focal point much. Yes, quite like that. So these should go into the bit of gel medium that we've got underneath the star. But what I'm also going to do is put a little bit of foam pad underneath them as well, so that they will stick on as well, but they'll be raised up. I've done 3, I don't know if I need the 3. So that just creates movement into the design. Sorry, you can't see for my hands, but so there we are. That's coming round, and this one, foam pad on the back, which also helps to stop the wire from moving. And I'm going to stick that into a bit of gel medium as well. So it's got it on the end, going in. That's it. So the gel medium is underneath there, and those leaves just give you a sense of movement in the design. I could, if I wanted, put a third one. Don't know whether I need it or not. Let's try it. No, I think it looks better with 2. I could put one coming out the bottom. No, I think it's surplus to requirements. So that's basically our design done. If you wanted and you had some paper clips, you could pop a paper clip on there just to reinforce that. and it also picks up this colour because this is copper and this is sort of a pale wood. If you want to add more details, what you can do is just with gel medium, just glue your paper clip onto, don't get too much gel medium on it, juggling with it, onto there. So that's quite nice. And to echo that, you could have one at the top. I think I will. I think we'll have one at the top as well. Which reinforces the stationery aspect of it. They'll take quite a long time to set. So I might just put a bulldog clip on them till they've set. But that is basically our design. So all based around creativity.